holidays and welcome back to my channel, SideHustleSeattle. Now today's the video I've wanted to do for a very long time, and that is discussing and going over all of the different remote online notary companies that I have found. Now I'll bring it back for the people who are brand new to my channel, or maybe just watching this series of videos for the first time. I had set out on a plan to do just remote online notary work, mainly because I don't have a vehicle. So being a mobile notary is just not an option for me. So where I am in the plan is I've already been commissioned, I already have my electronic endorsement, I've already been NNA certified in background check screen, I've taken different trainings, I've taken loan signing systems. So as far as being a signing agent, I'm ready to go. But I had to make sure that I researched different remote online notary companies and what's out there to make sure I can make the most informed decision for myself on where to start. I will be honest with you, when I set out to look at companies, I thought it was going to be very easy and very straightforward. It has been one of the longest endeavors that I have done. It's taken me like days and hours to find out all the information I needed to make the best decision for me. And that's mainly because it's pretty new. Like, even though remote online notary work has been around for 10 years in some states like Virginia, there's not a lot of resources out there. There's not a lot of videos. And so it took a lot of digging to find the information that I needed. That is what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna go over everything that I found, pros, the cons, the costs, just to make sure that if you're also looking to do remote online notary work, you can have this information to help you along with your journey. As always, I always suggest to do your own research when making important decisions like this. I just disclaimer, and you'll probably hear me say this a couple times throughout the video, I have not used any of these companies before. So all of this is just coming from the opinion of somebody looking on the outside who's read reviews, done my research, and formulated an opinion. Okay, so just keep that in mind as we're going through the video. Also, if you are somebody who's done remote online notary work, post your information in the comments. I think there's a lot of people who want more information. So if you're somebody who's used these companies, I would love to hear your opinions. Let me know what I got right. Let me know what I got wrong. Let's all learn together. So let's get into it. Let's just talk about getting set up for remote online notary work anyway. So it varies by state, but for the most part, you need the same basic stuff. You need to have electronic endorsement, and then you need to get permission from your state to do remote online notary work. Just because you have an electronic endorsement doesn't mean you have permission to do remote online notary work. Most of the time, they want to know which platform you're using to make sure that the platform has all the qualifications. Obviously, your platform needs to be able to verify identity, it needs to record the session, you need to be able to have a digital journal, it needs to keep it for a certain amount of time. There's a bunch of different qualifications in order to have an approved platform. So make sure that you get permission from your state before you just go and sign up for these remote online notary platforms. But again, you should check with your state to see exactly what you need. What else you'll need is you'll need a digital seal, because of course as a notary you have your little stamp, but when you're doing online, you'll need a digital version of that. And you'll need something called a digital certificate, and it's just an extra security measure. So those are just some of the basics that you'll need. Okay, so what I've found, there's like 4 different categories of remote online notary companies. 1 being employer, 2 being independent, 3 being a hybrid of both, and 4 being something I like to call partner only. So let's go through the definitions real quick. We'll talk a little bit more about them once we go through every company that fits within each category, so we'll make it brief. First definition, employer. So an employer company is essentially one where you're contracted directly with the company. So you're only servicing the clients that they have sourced. You cannot use the tool to bring on your own clients. Second one is independent. Independent, think of it like the exact opposite of employer. They're not giving you any clients. The only thing they're doing is giving you the tools and resources to service the clients that you have brought on yourself. Third one being hybrid. Kind of like it sounds, it's the best of both worlds. You'll be able to service the clients that they have sourced and use the tool to bring on your own clients. And then the last one is what I like to call partner only. Partner only is a little bit weird. So there's 2 companies out there, at least 2 notable ones that I found, where you can only use the service when given assignments through a partner company. So they contract with certain companies out there, different signing services, signing platforms, title escrow companies, and when they have an assignment, they will send it directly to that platform. But you can't just bring people from the outside in to use that platform, if that makes sense. We'll go into it a little bit more, don't worry. Okay, so now that you have the definitions, what I want to do is go through each of the companies that fit within each category of employer, independent, hybrid, and partner only. Now, it's a lot of information. I try to break it down and make it as palatable as possible, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave some in the comment section. Okay, so let's start with employer companies. Now, there's like 5 companies that fit into this bucket that I found. That's Notarize, NotaryCam, AtNotarize, Safedocs, and OnlineNotary.net. And they're all structured a little different, so we'll go through each one by one. Now, all of these different types of companies or categories are gonna have their pros and cons, but some of the pros of forming with an employer company is that they do all the legwork, they do all the marketing, they bring the clients to you. So you don't have to go out and you don't have to go to a bunch of different signing services or market yourself. You just have to sign up with their platform and they will give you all of the business. So that's a plus. It's definitely the least amount of legwork that you can do out of any of these companies. Also, one thing you'll find is when you're doing employer companies, there's often not a lot of fees to sign up, if any. And that's because, and we'll get to the con, they tend to take a larger percentage of the money that you make. So because they're bringing the business to you, because they're giving you the platform, they're giving you the tools, because there's zero sign-up fee, they do take a pretty sizable commission. But let's get into the companies one by one. Okay, so let's start with Notarize. Notarize is definitely one of the more reputable platforms out there. If you've ever Googled remote online notary platforms, it's more likely than not the very first search result that you've seen. I've actually personally used them. I used them a couple of months ago when I was signing up to be a notary public. I needed a document notarized. Didn't feel like going outside. Hit the first company that I saw, uploaded my document, got paired with the notary within 30 seconds, got it done within 5 minutes. Very clean, very easy to use platform. So we'll go through the availability of it, the fees and the payments, the pros and the cons, and we'll do that for each of these services. Okay, so for Notarize, it is actually only available in 4 states right now. Washington not being one of them, which is unfortunate, but there is a wait list if you're looking to sign up in your state. They are looking to add more states as time goes on, so you might as well get your name on the list. So let's talk about how much you have to pay to join and how much you get paid out when working with the company. So luckily, there are actually no upfront costs to use this service. It is completely free to sign up. Of course, you will need a digital seal and a digital certificate, but that is what you need for most companies, most RON companies, if not all, just in general. So it's not an additional fee, it's just something you need to do remote online notary work. Now, how much do you get paid out? So I will say that Notarize pays some of the least in comparison to other employer RON companies. You get paid $5 per notarization. So what that means is each time you need to put your digital seal on it, you get paid $5 for that. So if somebody uploads one document, one-page document, needs one notarization, you get $5. If you get a packet that needs 4 notarizations, you get paid $5 per each notarization. Now, I know that sounds small, and in comparison to what you can make if you're doing loan signings mobile, it's definitely a lot less, but keep in mind you didn't have to market yourself, they brought the clients to you, and you are doing this from the comfort of your home. So there are some benefits to it. Now, what are the pros? The pros are there is instant payouts via Stripe. So Stripe is just a payment processor, but it does allow you to cash out daily, weekly, monthly, however much you want. And so you're not waiting to get paid like you are when you're doing a lot of the other work when you're doing it mobilely. And there is very comprehensive training and onboarding associated with it. So if you have any confusion, you're not the most tech savvy, that is okay, because they will cover all of it. One of the cons though, like I said, lower pay than other platforms. And I do hear that you have to be pretty quick when accepting assignments because somebody will accept it before you. And so it's really easy to miss out on work. But that's kind of the same with other signing platforms. They send it to a bunch of notaries. Whoever accepts it first is the one who gets it. So the next one we're gonna talk about is NotaryCam. Now, NotaryCam specializes in real estate closing, which is good because real estate closings pay more than just general notary work. I wanna say they're the first platform who did a remote online notary closing. I feel like I read that on their website. I could be making that up. I read it on somebody's website. I think it was them. But the good thing about it is it is available in 25 different states. So I'm pretty sure they allow every notary who's in a state that allows remote online notary work to sign up through their platform. I will say it's a very formal process to how you sign up. It almost feels like filling out a job application. You put all your information, all your credentials, you kind of pitch yourself, but that is an option. What I will say is I do hear that they prefer experienced notaries. So if you're new like me, it may be a little bit harder to get hired through them. But let's go through the cost to sign up, how much you get paid out, and some pros and cons. So the unfortunate thing about them is there wasn't much information online. Like on their website, there's pretty much no information about the online fees to sign up or the payouts. The one thing I did find was a review. That was pretty much all I could find on how much they pay out. And it sounds like it's similar to Notarize in the sense that it pays out $5 per notarization. the review pretty much said that they did a closing and got paid $25. So again, that's very different and a lot smaller than when you're doing mobile online notary work. However, they are still bringing the clients to you and you're still doing it from home. So it's not nothing, it's just less. One of the pros is very formal training. I hear it's almost like sitting in a classroom. Like you do a couple days of training, not all day of course, but it's a very, very formal training process on how to use the tools, how to use the technology. And I wanna say it does some review also on how to do the closings to make sure that you are set up for success. A con though is the lack of customer support. That is something that I read, is that it's very hard to get in touch with customer support if something goes wrong. So if you're finding some glitches, you're having trouble with the tools, you may not be able to get in touch with somebody when you need them. Okay, so next let's talk about AtNotarize. So AtNotarize is actually a new company. They just launched in October, but it has a very clean website, very clean UI, similar to Notarize. It is a really easy sign-up process. I will say though, they are only available in 10 states, Washington not being one of them, unfortunately. But if it is a state that you are in, I recommend signing up because it does seem very straightforward and easy to use. But let's talk about the payments and fees, because this is a little bit different than what we've seen before. So there is a $100 setup fee that is waived through the month of December though. So if we are looking at this in December, you could potentially get that fee waived. They also charge a $19.99 monthly fee to use the service, but it's cheaper if you go and just purchase the whole year outright, and you keep 70% of the notarization costs. So that's different. Other platforms that are employer-based platforms don't charge you monthly fee and take commission. It's typically either or. You either get charged a monthly fee and you keep everything that you make, or you get charged a commission because you didn't get charged a monthly fee. So this one's a little bit weird in the sense that you both pay and only get 70% of what you make. So I messaged them to see if you're able to bring on your own clients, because I find that a little bit weird that they both charge a fee and you only keep a portion. So I will give you more information as I have that. The pro though is the bigger take home amount, right? Other companies only pay you $5 per notarization. In the state of Washington, we're able to charge $25 for online notarization. So I can keep 70% of that, which is triple what I would get paid if I was going through Notarize, or what the payout I would get on Notarize. So that is definitely a big pro. The cons though are of course the monthly fees plus commission. Again, really confused by that. So I will give you more information as I have that. So I'll wrap up the employer companies by talking about Safedocs and OnlineNotary.net at the same time. And that's only because there's very little information on the notary side about these companies as far as payments and fees and how the process works. There's very little information and there was not a lot that I could find online. So I'm just gonna kind of lump them together, okay? So I sent them both emails though to find out more information. And again, as I find it out, I will let you know. So Safedocs actually looks like they're only hiring notaries in Virginia, because when you go to their website and you look at all the FAQs, it only talks about Virginia notaries. So again, if that is not the case, I will let you know. OnlineNotary.net though is hiring in 22 different states. You just fill out the application. So the good thing that is available actually in Washington. And again, I've already sent them an email to find out more information. Now, there is no payments and fees listed on Safedocs website, so I don't have that information, but OnlineNotary.net says you can make up to $25 an hour working for them. So I imagine the setup is similar to the other companies that I've gone over, where they give you about $5 or so per notarization, which would make sense for me. It's hard to say any pros really because there's very little information on the companies, and I would say that that's pretty much the con, which is it's really hard to know if this is a good company for you because they don't give you enough information up front. Let's get into our next category, and that is the independent RON companies. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty biased on these ones. So after reading all the reviews and looking into the companies, to me this seems like the absolute worst option that you could go with. The pro is that you can use it at your own free will. They give you the tool to do whatever you want with, and that's nice, but the cons way outweigh the pros, which is it's very expensive. It's very expensive up front, it's very expensive throughout, and it's clunky, and it seems like it breaks often. But again, I'm being completely biased on something I've never actually used myself, just reading reviews. So let's get into the two different companies. The main companies that fit under independent companies are Signix and DocVerify, both of which you probably heard about. So let's start with Signix. Of the two independent RON companies, this one to me had the most intuitive interface, and I think had more pros than DocVerify had. I will say that you can't just go ahead and make an account on your own. You essentially have to contact the sales team and they will refer you to what the best plan is for you. So let's talk payment. So keep in mind, with independent RON companies, they're not paying you anything. You pay them to use their tools as you see fit. So all we're gonna go over is the payments that you pay, not payouts that you get, because they're not paying you anything. And there are a lot of them. So for Signix, you pay $250 annually to use their service, plus a $49 one-time setup fee. So before you even do any work with them, you're paying them $300 out the gate, all right? Not only that, you pay $10 for the first notarization in each of your sessions, plus $5 additionally. So anytime you bring somebody on the platform to use it, you are going to pay $10 to do that first notarization, plus $5 additionally. So let's say you're getting a loan packet and it has 4 different notarizations in it, you're gonna pay them $25 in order to do that. And that's on top of the annual fee that you already paid. In addition to that, you do pay for failed KBAs. So again, one of the benefits of having these remote online notary platforms is that they do all of the ID verification on the back end for you. And KBA are just knowledge-based authentication questions. You've probably seen them when you like sign up for a credit card, right? Ask you, have you ever lived on the street? Have you ever had this type of loan, et cetera, et cetera. If somebody fails it, they just put the answers in wrong, you pay them $10 for the failed KBA. If they don't fail it, you don't pay them anything. The one benefit is they do cap your max fees. So they cap the fees at $60. So no matter what, you won't pay more than $60 for a transaction, which is nice, I guess. But if you have a loan signing and it costs you, and you're charging the client $150, then you know you're gonna pay at least $10 in order to get that done. But more likely than not, you'll end up paying more because of all the different notarizations that you have to do throughout that service. So just keep that in mind. One of the pros though is everything is billed at the end of the month. So you don't pay up front for it. They only bill you one time monthly. So the good thing is you can get all your payments, you can get paid out, you can actually accumulate the money before you owe them for these different fees. The $250 annually you pay up front, but all the like $10 per notarization, $5 per additional notarization, that you only get billed monthly. It also comes with a free digital certificate. So if you're only using them, you don't have to purchase your own digital certificate, which is great, because typically those are about $100. So if you go through them, they will provide you with the digital certificate, which is a big plus. They also have unlimited live trainings, and they do KBAs, or they do ID verification with IDs and passports. Most companies only allow you to do the driver's license to do verification. This is one of the only companies I saw that allows you to do passports as well. So that is a plus, and they use Zoom video links. So when you're actually doing the recording, it is through Zoom, which most people have used by now, hopefully. So that makes it a little bit more intuitive and straightforward. So I will say Signix does have that going for themselves. There are some weird cons associated with this platform, 2 major ones. One is that the client gets sent 2 links when you try to set up a remote online notarization through the platform. First link being the Zoom meeting link, second one being a link to the documents. Now, what the issue is they get sent the documents before you even have a chance to meet. So what I've read is that a lot of times people's clients or whoever's signing will sign the papers before you got a chance to meet because they got sent the documents thinking that they need to, which just means that right when you meet with them again, they have to do it all over again. So they end up signing documents not in your presence. You have to do it all over again. It just causes a lot of confusion. Signix is very aware of this. It sounds like they're trying to fix it, but right now, it sounds like people have to go out of their way, send or text or send another email to their clients to make sure that they do not sign the documents before it is in front of them. So keep that in mind. The other one that is a big red flag is you can only do 1 stamp per document. So let's say somebody has a document and it requires 2 notarial seals. You can only stamp it once within the platform. So you're gonna have to figure out another way to get the document stamped again. So it's a limitation within their service. Again, they are aware and they're trying to fix it, but just keep that in mind that you know if you have a document and it's gonna require more than 1 stamp, you will not be able to do that through this platform. You can only do 1. Also, they make you pay extra for phone support. So like everybody gets email support, but it's limited. But if you want phone support if something goes wrong, you're paying for that. And you're paying an annual fee to just get phone support on a company you already paid $250 annually for, and that you pay for even once you've paid the annual fee. And then there's some other basic ones, like they charge for failed KVA, it's not cell phone friendly, it's frequent glitches, and they actually only keep the records for 90 days. So if it's getting recorded, they only keep it for 90 days. So you wanna make sure that you download it separately, because otherwise you won't have it. Like most of the time you need to keep these things for years. So you just know that you're gonna have to record these or download these separately and keep them in a file, just to make sure that you comply with your state laws. So again, some pros, a lot of cons, a lot of expenses. But let's get into the next service. Okay, so let's talk about DocVerify next. Now, this is definitely one of the more notable platforms. I feel like when I was doing my research, it popped up everywhere. But again, very expensive, a lot of pros, well, not a lot of pros, a lot of cons, a couple of pros. So let's break it down. I will say it is available, I wanna say in most states, if not every state that does remote online notary work. So it should be open availability, you get to bring your own clients. We know that is the structure of independent notary platforms, but let's get into how it is set up. So you pay a $125 setup fee, that's a one-time setup fee, plus $75 a month to use the service. Now, you can get it cheaper if you pay for the year outright. I think it goes down to like $68 a month if you pay for it outright for the whole year, but otherwise it is $75 a month, and that's because you have to get the enterprise package if you're doing remote online notary work. If you're just doing electronic notary or e-notary work, you don't need the enterprise package. If you are doing remote online notary work, you do need to have the enterprise package. Now, this is based on, it's interesting because their whole platform is based on a credit system, and we'll go into that a little bit more when we get into the cons, but just keep that in mind. Just because you're saying $75 a month doesn't mean you can use the platform as much as possible. Also, you pay $2.25 per person for ID verification. So again, they verify their identity, but each time you want to get somebody verified, you are paying $2.25 for that person. Now, again, it's not all bad. I don't think that's fair. But let's talk about some of the pros. Some of the pros were that it's notable and that people know the service at the very least. So it's not like people, oh, DocVerify, what is that? It sounds like most people know what it is. So that's the pro. That's the only pro. So let's get into the cons. The cons are everything is transacted via credits. So that $75 a month gives you 32 credits a month, and they do roll over month for month, but not by the year. So you have to use them all by the end of the year, otherwise you lose them. However, if you have 32 credits in January, you only use 20, the other 12 will roll over into the month of February. So that is good. But how far do those credits go for you? So for a single document, it is 4 credits per transaction. So if somebody has a single document they want notarized, you're going to be using 4 of your 32 credits in order to do that transaction. If they're doing a packet, like a loan signing, that is 8 credits, all right? So 8 divided by 32, that's 4. So if you're doing just 4 loan signings in a month, you're running through all of your credits, and that's just 4 loan signings. You can do 4 loan signings in a day, and you're running through all 32 credits. Now, how much does it cost to get additional credits? It is anywhere from $3 to $5 per credit to get additional. And it'll be based on how many you get. Obviously, the more you get, the less they'll charge you per credit, but it's $3 to $5 extra per credit to get more if you need them. So it's 8 credits per transaction. If you want to record the entire session, which a lot of times you'll need to, depending on your state, it's another 8 credits. So in order to do a loan packet, in order to record your session, which is a requirement in a lot of states, you're gonna pay 16 credits. So just to do 1 transaction, you're using half of your credits for the month. You paid $75 for the month to only be able to do 2 transactions. And that's the thing, you pay for every little thing with DocVerify. You pay extra for full recordings, you pay extra for ID verification, you pay extra for ID capture. And what I hear is there's very little phone support and very little site reliability. It crashes often. People have said that it's been frustrating and they've had to take it off platform to go to a different platform. My suggestion, you can see that I don't love independent RON companies. I'm 100% not gonna use those. I'm 100% not gonna sign up. But again, this is just my outside perspective. It's very much a pay to play, all right? You have to give so much money up front and throughout in order to use the service. And really, with DocVerify, you can only use the service like 1 or 2 times a month. Otherwise, you're gonna be paying another arm and a leg in order to just use the service. It doesn't seem worth it. With Signix, it's a little bit less in fees, I guess. So if you had to pick one, I would pick Signix because it's gonna be a little bit cheaper and seems a little bit more reliable. But at the end of the day, you're coming out of pocket $300, $400, $500 before you even do a single loan signing with these companies. So just keep that in mind when looking to sign up. There are other companies that you can use for free. There are other ways that you can make money doing RON work without having to pay so much upfront, especially if you're new and you do not have a ton of clients yet. This may not be worth it. But let's get into the next category. Okay, so let's talk about hybrid RON platforms next. And the only hybrid platform that I've found is OneNotary. Now, I've heard fantastic things about OneNotary. Again, it's not available in Washington. I don't know why everybody's hating on Washington, but there are some fantastic YouTube videos already out about it, and I'll link all those in the description because there is some information out there that I do think is helpful, and that way you can do your own research. But OneNotary, I want to say, is available in 3 states right now, with 4 of them pending being available. I'll put screenshots and everything just so you can see it. But it is great. It's the best of both worlds. You can service your own clients on it, and you can service the clients that they provide. Now, this one is structured a little bit differently. So let's get into the payments and the payouts. First of all, it is no upfront cost to sign up with their service, which is fantastic. Now, when you bring your own clients to the platform, you get paid $10 to $18, depending on the state that you're commissioned in and how many signings you've done on the platform. So it actually rewards you for loyalty. You know, you get paid a certain amount for your first 50 signings, certain amount after 100, certain amount after this amount. So it goes up as you've done more signings with the platform. Now, if you're servicing their clients, you get paid $6 per notarization. So that's similar to what you've seen in Notarize. It's still more than you got paid with Notarize with the $5, but if you're helping the clients that they have sourced, that they have done the legwork on, then you're only getting paid $6 per notarization. So if you're bringing your own client, it's more. If you're servicing their client, it is less. So just keep that in mind. If you're bringing your own client on, they are going to take a portion of the fee that you charged. In Washington, I can charge $25, which means at the end of it, I may only get, $16, $17, $18 of that $25 because they are going to take a portion of that amount. Now, pros are weekly payment via direct deposit. That's always great. One thing I've heard, especially from mobile notaries, is sometimes it takes a month, 2 months to get paid from some of these companies. So it's nice that you can have reliable weekly payouts. Also, very comprehensive training. So if you're not tech savvy or you're not intuitive on any of this, do not worry. They will break down how to work through all of it. One of the cons is that you actually don't get to service their clients or don't get to help their clients until you've done a certain amount of notarizations on their platform. So when you first sign up, you cannot service the clients that they provide. They only let you do that after your first 50 or 100 notarizations on their platform. I've heard it 2 different ways. I've heard 50 and I've heard 100. So essentially, once you've helped 50 of your own clients, they will allow you access to help their clients as well. So once you get there though, then again, best of both worlds. So highly suggest checking that one out. Okay, so let's get into our last category, and that is partner-only categories. Now, the 2 companies that fit under this are Pavaso and Nexsys. Now, some of the pros of it is that there's very little, if any, sign-up fee to get set up with them, and you don't have to worry about setting the appointment or doing all that. The partner company will do all of that for you. The con, of course, is that you can't bring your own clients to it, so you are limited on how you can use the tool. But let's talk about the different companies. Okay, so let's talk about Pavaso. So what I will say that it seems like the most recognized of the 2 between the signing services. I feel like every signing service that I went to, all listed Pavaso as a company to do RON work through. So it seems like it's very notable, very recognizable. Now, there is a little bit of different setup process for it. So you have to get Pavaso certified, which is essentially you sign up for it, you have to watch this video, you do a quick quiz, and then they send you a link to actually make an account, and that's it, you're Pavaso certified. Now, there is a setup fee, which is unlike there is for Nexsys. So let's go through that. Now, there is a $99 setup fee, and you pay $50 annually after initial setup. Now, that's not that much money, but it's not nothing, so it's just something to be aware of. I will say for the pros and cons though, there's a relatively low startup cost. and they list all of their partner companies on the website. So all the different signing services that they partner with on the websites, because again, this is a partner only service, which means you have to get assigned work directly through somebody they partner with. So it's nice. They make it very convenient to know who they use and where you can get work from through them. So that is awesome. One of the cons though, they do make you get this document like notarized before you can finish setting up your account, which I find a little bit odd. So you have to like verify your identity by getting this document notarized and all this stuff. So it's just an additional step that you wouldn't have to do with another company. So keep that in mind. Another con is they don't do IdenTrust digital certificates. So if that's who you have your digital certificate through, you will have to get it through another company. It is actually not compatible with Pavaso, which is unfortunate. And the last thing is this, I hear that it's very little client education. So just because you know how to use the platform doesn't mean that they do. So you'll have to do a little bit of hand holding on the client end in order to get them through the signing. So just things to keep in mind, just things to be aware of. Okay, so rounding out all of our remote online notary companies is Nexsys ClearSign. So the only reason I actually heard of them is because they have a partnership with Safedocs, and that was the first signing platform that I signed up for. So it's really easy actually to make an account with them. They're available in 20 states with like more pending, and of course I'll show a map of which states they are available in. I will say though, when you're signing up, it's a little bit tricky. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the website and it's like contact sales or find out more or schedule a demo, whatever it says, when you sign up through them, you're gonna get hit with a message that says that they are no longer accepting any more accounts and that they've reached their maximum. But if you go to the top corner and you just make an account through the like sign in button or the sign up button, you can actually make an account through that. Now I didn't know, it didn't list any payments or fees or anything on the website. So I emailed them and they say it's actually free to use through partners. So there's no sign up fee associated with using the platform because of course you get the assignments through the partner companies, and I assume those partner companies are paying them a certain amount of money to use their service. So there's no fee to you, the notary, which is fantastic. One con I will say is there's just very little information available. So it's really hard to kind of do great research. I haven't found any YouTube videos on it. It was hard to find reviews on it. So that's one thing I will say, but since it's free to use, it's worth using it, right? I've already made an account. I just have to go in and put the rest of my information in, and that was it. Relatively easy sign up and set up. The other con that I saw though was that phone support didn't look like it was 24/7. So if you do have an issue arise with it and you're doing a very late night signing, you may not be able to get help from a technical standpoint. So just keep that in mind. So that's it, we made it. You made it through the whole video. I'm hoping this wasn't too long of a video. I'm hoping this was helpful information with all the screen grabs and videos and everything else. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to know your opinions. I would love to hear your questions. I would love to see anything that you want to share with me. Thank you again for watching. Appreciate it.